Captain Jake Morrison stared at the view screen as his ship moved through space toward the Kepler 442 system. The USS Horizon had received a distress call 3 hours ago from a Zephyrian trade convoy. Jake knew the Zephyrians well from previous encounters. They were peaceful traders who rarely asked for help unless something was seriously wrong. "Captain, we are approaching the coordinates now," said Lieutenant Amy Foster from her position at the navigation console. Jake nodded and watched as the stars shifted on the main display. Soon they could see the Zephyrian ship floating dead in space. Its lights were off and no energy readings came from the vessel. "Scan the area, Amy," Jake ordered. "I want to know what happened here." The young officer's fingers moved quickly over her controls. Within moments, her face showed concern. "Sir, there is something else out there, a massive ship about 2 kilometers long. It appears to be very old." Amy paused and looked at more readings. "Captain, the ship is scanning us right now." Dr. Lisa Carter moved from her science station to stand beside Jake. She was the ship's expert on ancient alien technology, and her knowledge had saved them many times before. "Captain, I am reading energy signatures unlike anything in our database. That ship has been here for a very long time." Commander Paul Rogers joined them near the captain's chair. As Jake's second in command, Paul always provided steady advice during difficult situations. "Sir, I recommend we maintain our distance until we understand what we are dealing with." Jake studied the tactical display that showed both ships. The Zephyrian vessel was clearly disabled while the ancient ship seemed to be waiting and watching. "Lisa, what can you tell me about that thing?" Dr. Carter worked at her station for several minutes before responding. "Captain, the ship appears to be made of materials I cannot identify. The hull design is unlike any known alien architecture. Most interesting is that it seems to be actively scanning everything in this area." "Any signs of life aboard?" Jake asked. "Difficult to say, Captain. The ship has some kind of shielding that blocks most of our sensors. However, I am detecting what appears to be an artificial intelligence running the vessel." Chief Engineer Ryan Bell spoke up from his position. "Captain, our systems are working fine, but I am reading some kind of energy field around that ship. It looks like it could shut down any technology that gets too close." Jake considered this information carefully. "Paul, bring up everything we have on this system. I want to know if anyone has reported encounters with this ship before." "Commander." Rogers accessed the ship's database and began searching through historical records. After 20 minutes, he found several reports dating back hundreds of years. "Sir, multiple species have encountered this vessel over the centuries. Every report says the same thing. The ship disables any vessel that approaches, then broadcasts a warning telling them to leave and never return." "What kind of warning?" Jake asked. Each species received the message in their own language. The content was always identical. "Leave this area immediately and do not return or face destruction." Dr. Carter looked up from her readings with surprise. "Captain, something is happening. The ancient ship's energy levels are increasing significantly. It appears to be powering up systems that have been dormant for a very long time." Lieutenant Commander Susan Hayes at the tactical station confirmed the readings. "Sir, that ship has enough firepower to destroy a small fleet. Its weapons are far more advanced than anything in our database." Jake felt tension building on the bridge. Every encounter with this mysterious ship had ended the same way for thousands of years. Alien vessels were disabled and forced to retreat. Yet something was different this time. "Captain," Amy called out with excitement in her voice, "the ship is moving. It has changed course and is heading directly toward us." "Raise shields and power weapons," Jake ordered, "but do not target the vessel unless I give the command." He watched as the massive black ship slowly turned to face them. Strange patterns of light moved across its hull like living circuits. Ryan Bell reported from engineering. "Captain, our shields are up, but that ship could punch through them easily, if it wanted to. However, I am not detecting any hostile targeting systems locked onto us." Dr. Carter studied her readings with growing amazement. "This is incredible, Captain. The ship is not trying to disable our systems. In fact, it seems to be actively avoiding interfering with our technology. That does not match any previous encounters," Paul noted. "Every other species was immediately disabled when they entered this range." Jake stood and walked closer to the view screen. The ancient vessel filled most of the display now. Its dark hull reflected the light from the nearby star, creating an almost hypnotic pattern. Why are we different? What makes this ship treat us unlike every other species? Captain, I am receiving a transmission, Amy announced. The signal is unlike anything in our communications protocols, but it is definitely directed at us. Put it on speakers, Jake said. Strange sounds filled the bridge. The transmission contained mathematical sequences mixed with what sounded like star charts. Dr. Carter worked quickly to analyze the signal while the rest of the crew listened to the alien communication. Captain, this is fascinating, Dr. Carter said after several minutes. The transmission contains precise mathematical proofs followed by stellar navigation data. It appears to be showing us something specific. Can you decode it? Jake asked. I believe so, but it will take time. However, Captain, there is something else. The navigation data includes coordinates for Earth. Not current Earth, but Earth as it was positioned thousands of years ago. The bridge fell silent as everyone absorbed this information. Paul was the first to speak. How could an ancient alien ship know the historical position of Earth? Captain, Susan called from tactical. Multiple contacts approaching. I count 17 different fleets moving toward our position from various directions. Jake felt his stomach tighten. Time to intercept. At current speeds, they will arrive in this system within 6 hours. Dr. Carter looked up from her analysis. Captain, I believe the ancient ship is trying to warn us. The mathematical sequences indicate approaching danger from multiple vectors. You think it knows about those fleets? Jake asked. More than that, Captain. I believe it has been monitoring galactic communications and detected a coordinated attack being planned. An attack specifically targeting human space. Jake realized that everything had changed in a matter of minutes. The mysterious ship that had said no to aliens for millennia was now trying to communicate with humanity. The question was whether they could understand its message before 17 alien fleets arrived to destroy them all. Amy set course for the ancient ship, Jake ordered. It is time we introduced ourselves properly. The USS Horizon moved slowly toward the ancient vessel as Captain Jake Morrison studied the incoming signals. Dr. Lisa Carter and Lieutenant Amy Foster worked together at the science station, trying to decode the complex transmissions. The mathematical sequences were becoming clearer, but the star charts remained a mystery. Captain, I am making progress with the signal, Dr. Carter announced. The mathematical proofs are actually showing us how to establish a proper communication link. It wants to talk to us. Jake nodded and watched the massive ship on the view screen. Unlike its reaction to other species, the ancient vessel showed no signs of hostility toward humans. Do it, Lisa. Open a channel using their specifications. Dr. Carter input the mathematical formulas into their communication system. Within moments, the static cleared and a new type of signal came through. This transmission contained visual elements mixed with audio patterns that seemed almost familiar. Amy, what do you make of these star charts? Jake asked. Lieutenant Foster had been studying the navigational data for over an hour. Captain, these charts show stellar positions from approximately 3,000 years ago, but they also include predictive calculations that accurately show where those stars would be located today. That level of astronomical calculation would require incredibly advanced computers, Commander Paul Rogers observed. Whoever built that ship had technology far beyond most current civilizations. Chief Engineer Ryan Bell reported from his station. Captain, I am detecting some interesting energy patterns from the ancient ship. It appears to be scanning our computer systems, but not in an invasive way. More like it is trying to understand how our technology works. Jake considered this information carefully. Lisa, any progress on establishing two-way communication? Almost there, Captain. The ship seems to be downloading our language database and learning how to speak with us. This level of artificial intelligence is remarkable. Suddenly, the bridge, speakers activated with a clear voice speaking perfect English. Human vessel, this is Guardian Unit 7. I have been waiting for your species to return to space for many centuries. The crew exchanged shocked glances. Jake stepped forward and spoke toward the communications pickup. Guardian Unit 7, this is Captain Jake Morrison of the human starship USS Horizon. You said waiting for our species to return. What do you mean? Captain, Morrison, your species achieved interstellar travel once before. My creators were human beings who built an empire among the stars 3,000 years ago. I am one of 7 guardian ships created to protect humanity from alien threats. Dr. Carter could barely contain her excitement. Captain, this changes everything we know about human history. We had advanced spacefaring ancestors. The Guardian continued speaking. Dr. Carter, your current human civilization developed exactly as predicted. My programming included careful guidance to ensure your species would rediscover space travel when the time was right. Jake felt overwhelmed by these revelations, but focused on the immediate danger. Guardian Unit 7, our sensors, detected 17 alien fleets approaching this system. Are they here for us? Correct, Captain Morrison. The Alien Coalition represents the largest military alliance in galactic history. Species that have been enemies for millennia have united with one goal. They intend to destroy humanity before you can reclaim your place among the stars. Lieutenant Commander Susan Hayes spoke up from the tactical station. Guardian, how do you know about these fleets? Commander Hayes, I have been monitoring galactic communications for 3,000 years. The alien species fear humanity because your ancestors proved that humans possess unique abilities. You adapt and overcome obstacles that would stop other civilizations. Commander Rogers studied the tactical display showing the approaching alien forces. Guardian Unit 7, what happened to the first human interstellar civilization? Commander, the ancient humans faced the same challenge you now encounter. A galaxy full of alien species that viewed human expansion as an existential threat. The war lasted 50 years and ended with the destruction of all human colonies except Earth. Dr. Carter worked at her station pulling up historical records. Guardian, you mentioned 7 ships like yourself. What happened to the other 6? Dr. Carter, the other Guardian units were destroyed in the final battle defending the last human colony. I alone survived and retreated to this system to wait and watch for humanity's return to space. Jake realized the implications of what they were learning. So you have been protecting Earth for 3,000 years. Correct, Captain. I have disabled or destroyed any alien vessel that showed hostile intent toward your homeworld. My primary directive is to protect humanity at all costs. Amy Foster looked up from her console. Guardian, those 17 fleets will reach our position in less than 5 hours. What are their intentions? Lieutenant Foster, the Alien Coalition plans to eliminate your ship and then proceed to Earth. They believe destroying humanity now will prevent another human interstellar empire from forming. Ryan Bell reported unusual readings from the ancient ship. Captain, the Guardian appears to be transferring massive amounts of data to our computers. Our storage systems are filling rapidly with new information. Guardian Unit 7. What are you sending us? Jake asked. Captain Morrison, I am downloading complete technical specifications for weapons and defensive systems far beyond your current capabilities. Your ship must be upgraded quickly if you hope to survive the coming battle. Dr. Carter studied the incoming data with amazement. Captain, this technology is thousands of years ahead of anything we have. Energy shields that can stop planet killing, weapons, propulsion systems that could cross the galaxy in weeks instead of years. Guardian, why are you helping us? Jake asked. What do you need from humanity in return? Captain, your ancestors created me to serve one purpose: protect humanity and ensure the survival of your species. However, I must determine if modern humans are worthy successors to your ancient heritage. Commander Rogers understood the implication. You want to test us? Correct, Commander. The first wave of alien scouts will arrive in this system within 6 hours. Your crew must prove that humanity still possesses the courage and intelligence of your ancestors. If you succeed, I will join your fleet for the greater battle ahead. Jake looked around the bridge at his crew. Each person showed determination mixed with fear. They were about to face alien forces with technology they barely understood while fighting for the survival of their entire species. Guardian Unit 7, we accept your challenge. Upload everything we need to know and help us prepare for battle. Acknowledged. Captain Morrison, transferring Guardian protocols now. Welcome back to the war your ancestors began 3,000 years ago. Guardian Unit 7 began transmitting detailed technical information to the USS Horizon. as Captain Jake Morrison watched his crew work frantically to understand the ancient technology. The bridge displays showed weapon designs and defensive systems that seemed impossible by human standards. Dr. Lisa Carter studied the historical records flowing into their computers. Captain, the information Guardian Unit 7 is providing shows that our ancestors achieved remarkable things. They established colonies in 12 star systems and developed technology that made them nearly unstoppable. What went wrong? Jake asked. How did such an advanced civilization fall? According to these records, Captain, the ancient humans faced the same problem we have now. Every alien species in the galaxy saw human expansion as a threat to their own existence. They formed alliance after alliance until finally the entire galaxy united against humanity. Chief Engineer Ryan Bell worked with his team to install Guardian technology into their ship's systems. Captain, this equipment is incredible. The energy shields alone could protect us from weapons that would normally destroy a dozen ships. Lieutenant Amy Foster coordinated with Guardian Unit 7 to understand the approaching alien forces. Captain, the Guardian has detailed information about each species in the coalition. The Vorthan Empire specializes in stealth attacks. The Crystalline Collective uses energy-draining weapons. The Hive Confederation relies on swarm tactics with thousands of small fighters. Commander Paul Rogers reviewed the tactical data with growing concern. These alien species have been fighting each other for centuries. They know every weakness and strength their enemies possess. Now they are working together against us. Jake studied the information about humanity's ancestors and felt both pride and sadness. Guardian Unit 7, how many humans were alive at the peak of our ancient civilization? Captain Morrison, at maximum expansion, your ancestors numbered nearly 2 billion people across 12 worlds. Today, Earth's population exceeds 8 billion, but you remain confined to one planet. What made our ancestors special? Jake asked. Why did the aliens fear them so much? Guardian Unit 7's voice filled the bridge with what almost sounded like pride. Captain, your species possesses something unique in the galaxy. While other civilizations specialize in one area and remain static for thousands of years, humans continue to adapt and evolve. You solve problems that would stop other species completely. Dr. Carter looked up from her research. Guardian, I'm reading about something called the Innovation Protocol. What was that? Dr. Carter, the Innovation Protocol was your ancestors' greatest achievement and ultimate weakness. Human beings can examine any technology and quickly develop improvements or completely new applications. This ability allowed rapid advancement but also made other species fear human expansion. Lieutenant Commander Susan Hayes studied the weapon specifications being downloaded to their tactical systems. Captain, these energy weapons are designed to adapt automatically to enemy defenses. The targeting systems learn from each battle and become more effective. That sounds like human thinking applied to weapons design, Jake observed. Correct, Captain Morrison. Your ancestors built technology that could think and adapt like humans do. This made their weapons and defenses incredibly difficult for alien species to counter. Ryan Bell reported progress from engineering. Captain, we have successfully integrated Guardian Shield technology with our existing systems. Our defensive capabilities have increased by approximately 400%. What about weapons? Jake asked. The Guardian weapons require significant power modifications, Captain. I estimate another 4 hours before we can bring the primary systems online. Amy Foster announced new contacts on long-range sensors. Captain, 3 separate groups of alien ships have entered the outer edge of this system. The Guardian was correct about the timing of their arrival. Guardian Unit 7 provided tactical analysis. Captain Morrison, the first group consists of Vorthan stealth frigates. They will attempt to disable your engines and weapons before the other groups arrive. The second group contains crystalline energy drainers that will try to shut down all your power systems. The third group includes Hive swarm fighters that will overwhelm your defenses through sheer numbers. Jake realized they were facing 3 completely different types of warfare simultaneously. Guardian, can your ship assist us in this battle? Captain, my programming requires that humanity prove itself worthy before I can provide direct combat assistance. However, I will share tactical information and technical support throughout the engagement. Dr. Carter made an important discovery while studying the historical records. Captain, I found something interesting. The ancient humans never fought these three species together in one battle. Each previous encounter was against a single enemy type. So we are facing something our ancestors never experienced, Paul Rogers noted. Correct, Commander Rogers. This coordinated attack represents a new level of alien cooperation, specifically designed to counter human adaptability. Jake walked to the center of the bridge and looked at each crew member. Everyone listen carefully. We are about to fight for more than just our lives. We are fighting to prove that humanity deserves to survive and expand among the stars. Susan, Hayes reported from Tactical. Captain, the Vorthan ships are approaching fast. They will be in weapons range in 30 minutes. Ryan, what is the status of our new weapon systems? Jake asked. Captain, the energy shields are fully operational. Primary weapons will be online in 20 minutes. However, we have never tested any of this technology in actual combat. Amy Foster coordinated with the Guardian to track enemy movements. Captain, the alien ships are spreading out to attack from multiple directions. They plan to hit us from 3 sides simultaneously. Guardian Unit 7 provided additional information. Captain Morrison, your ancestors succeeded in battles like this by using creativity and unpredictable tactics. Alien species tend to follow rigid battle plans while humans improvise and adapt during combat. Dr. Carter studied the technical specifications for their new weapons. Captain, these systems are designed to learn from each shot fired. The more we use them, the more effective they become. That gives us an advantage in a prolonged battle, Jake realized. Guardian Unit 7, how long do we need to survive to prove ourselves worthy? Captain, you must demonstrate the same qualities that made your ancestors great. Courage under impossible odds. Creative problem-solving when facing superior forces. Most importantly, the refusal to surrender even when defeat appears certain. Jake took his command chair as the alien ships moved closer. All stations prepare for combat. Today we fight not just for ourselves, but for every human who will ever live among the stars. The Vorthan stealth frigates struck first, appearing on sensors only seconds before their weapons fired. Captain Jake Morrison gripped his command chair as the USS Horizon shook under the initial assault. The Guardian shields held but warning. Lights flashed across every station on the bridge. Damage report, Jake called out. Chief Engineer Ryan Bell checked his systems quickly. Captain Shields down to 85% but holding steady. The Guardian technology is working better than expected. Lieutenant. Commander Susan Hayes worked frantically at the tactical station. Captain, I cannot get a target lock on the Vorthan ships. Their stealth systems are too advanced for our standard sensors. Dr. Lisa Carter studied the readings from her science station. Captain, I am detecting energy distortions where the Vorthan ships should be. If we can modify our sensors to track those distortions instead of the ships themselves. Do it, Jake ordered. Ryan, can you reroute power to enhance sensor capability? Already on it, Captain. Dr. Carter, your modifications should be online in 30 seconds. The horizon shook again as more Vorthan weapons found their target. Amy Foster reported from navigation. Captain, the crystalline ships are approaching from our starboard side. They will be in weapons range in 10 minutes. Jake realized they needed to eliminate the Vorthan threat quickly before facing the energy-draining attack from the crystalline vessels. Susan, do we have target locks yet? Acquiring targets now, Captain. Dr. Carter's sensor modifications are working. I can see 3 Vorthan frigates moving in attack formation. Fire all weapons, Jake commanded. The Guardian energy weapons discharged for the first time, sending brilliant beams of light toward the enemy ships. The first Vorthan frigate exploded immediately, while the second vessel lost its stealth capability and became visible on all sensors. Guardian Unit 7 provided tactical analysis. Captain Morrison, excellent adaptation. Your crew demonstrated the human ability to solve technical problems under combat pressure. 1 down, 2 to go, Susan announced as she targeted the remaining Vorthan ships. However, the aliens had learned from the first exchange and were now moving in unpredictable patterns. Commander Paul Rogers studied the enemy movements. Captain, they are trying to stay outside our weapon range while maintaining their attacks on us. Jake considered their options. Amy, can we move closer without exposing ourselves to the crystalline ships? Negative, Captain. Moving toward the Vorthans would put us directly in the path of the energy-draining attack. Dr. Carter made a suggestion while monitoring their shield strength. Captain, what if we let the Vorthans think they are winning? Draw them closer, then hit them with everything we have. Risky, but it might work, Jake agreed. Ryan, reduce power to shields. Make it look like we are failing. Ryan Bell carefully adjusted their defensive systems to appear weaker while maintaining actual protection. Captain shield readings now show 60% and falling. The Vorthans should take the bait. The enemy ships moved closer as expected. Susan Hayes waited for the perfect moment, then fired a concentrated burst from all weapon systems. Both remaining Vorthan frigates were destroyed in brilliant explosions. Excellent work, everyone, Jake said. Now for the crystalline ships. Amy Foster reported the next wave of enemies. Captain, 4 crystalline vessels approaching. They are charging their energy-draining weapons. Guardian Unit 7 provided information about this new threat. Captain Morrison, crystalline ships use focused beams to drain all power from enemy vessels. However, their own systems become overloaded if too much energy flows back toward them. Ryan Bell understood immediately. Captain, if we can reverse the energy drain and send power back through their beams. Can our systems handle that kind of feedback? Jake asked. With the Guardian technology, yes, Captain. But timing will be critical. The crystalline ships opened fire with beams of energy that began draining power from the Horizon systems. Lights dimmed across the bridge as their energy levels dropped rapidly. Now, Ryan, Jake shouted. Ryan Bell activated the modified system, sending massive amounts of energy back through the crystalline drain beams. The alien ships were not designed to handle reverse energy flow and began overloading immediately. Dr. Carter watched the enemy ships on her sensors. Captain, 2 crystalline vessels are losing power. Their systems are shutting down. However, the other 2 alien ships adapted quickly and cut their energy beams before suffering the same fate. Susan Hayes targeted the disabled vessels and destroyed them with Guardian weapons. 2 down, 2 to go, she reported. But the remaining ships are staying at maximum range. The surviving crystalline ships began a different attack pattern, using shorter energy bursts that could not be easily reversed. Jake realized they needed a new approach. Amy, plot an intercept course. We need to get close enough for direct weapons fire. Captain, that puts us right in their energy drain range, Amy warned. Guardian Unit 7. How did our ancestors handle this situation? Jake asked. Captain, your ancestors used aggressive tactics that alien species considered irrational. They would charge directly at superior enemy forces and rely on human determination to overcome technological disadvantages. Jake made his decision. Amy, full speed toward those crystalline ships. Susan, prepare all weapons for close-range combat. The USS Horizon accelerated toward the enemy vessels while their energy-draining beams reduced power throughout the ship. But human determination combined with Guardian technology proved superior to alien logic. Susan Hayes fired continuously as they closed distance with the enemy. The Guardian weapons adapted to each shot, becoming more accurate and powerful. Both crystalline ships were destroyed before they could escape. Crystalline threat eliminated, Captain, Susan reported. Amy Foster checked long-range sensors. Captain, the Hive swarm ships are approaching fast. I count over 200 small fighters. Guardian Unit 7 provided the final challenge. Captain Morrison, the Hive Confederation represents your greatest test. Your ancestors never faced this. Many enemy ships simultaneously. Jake looked around the bridge at his crew. They had proven human adaptability against stealth attacks and energy-draining weapons. Now they faced overwhelming numbers in what would determine humanity's future among the stars. All stations prepare for the final battle, Jake ordered. Today, we show the galaxy what humans can accomplish when we refuse to surrender. Over 200 Hive fighters swarmed toward the USS Horizon like angry insects surrounding a threat to their nest. Captain Jake Morrison watched the tactical display as the small alien ships moved in perfect coordination, directed by 3 larger command vessels staying safely behind the swarm. Captain, conventional weapons will not be effective against this many targets, Lieutenant Commander Susan Hayes reported from Tactical. Even with Guardian technology, we cannot engage 200 fighters simultaneously. Dr. Lisa Carter studied the enemy formation while working at her science station. Captain, the Hive ships are operating as a collective intelligence. Each fighter receives instructions from the command vessels in real time. Chief Engineer Ryan Bell monitored their power systems as he prepared for the massive battle ahead. Captain, Guardian shields are holding, but that many enemy ships will overwhelm our defenses through sheer numbers. Jake considered their options. Fighting 200 fighters directly would be suicide even with advanced technology. However, Guardian Unit 7 had emphasized that humans succeeded by thinking differently than alien species expected. Amy, what is the maximum range of the command ship control signals? Jake asked. Lieutenant Amy Foster worked with Dr. Carter to analyze the Hive communication systems. Captain, the command signals appear to have a range of approximately 50,000 kilometers. Beyond that distance, individual fighters would operate independently. Commander Paul Rogers understood the implication. If we could disrupt the command signals, the fighters would lose coordination. Guardian Unit 7, do our new systems include jamming capabilities? Jake asked. Affirmative, Captain Morrison. However, Hive command ships are heavily shielded against electronic warfare. Direct jamming would be ineffective at long range. Dr. Carter made an important discovery. Captain, I am detecting something interesting about the command ship locations. They are positioned in a triangular formation with the fighter swarm between them and us. Jake studied the tactical display and began forming a plan. What if we do not try to fight through the swarm? What if we go around them and attack the command ships directly? Susan Hayes checked their weapons range. Captain, that would require us to move through the entire fighter formation. We would take massive damage before reaching the command ships. Not if we move fast enough, Jake replied. Ryan, can we divert all power from shields to engines for a high-speed attack run? Captain, that would leave us completely unprotected against enemy fire. Guardian Unit 7 provided tactical analysis. Captain Morrison, your plan demonstrates the human tendency toward aggressive action that alien species find difficult to predict. However, success would require perfect timing and execution. Jake made his decision knowing that conventional tactics would fail against overwhelming numbers. Amy plotted a course directly through the center of the fighter swarm toward the primary command ship. Maximum speed course plotted, Captain. Amy replied with determination in her voice. Ryan, transfer all shield power to engines and weapons. We are going to hit them before they can react. The USS Horizon accelerated toward the Hive swarm at speeds that stressed their modified systems. The alien fighters opened fire, but the human ship moved too fast for accurate targeting from the small vessels. Multiple hits, Captain, Ryan reported as energy blasts struck their unshielded hull. Hull integrity holding, but we are taking damage. Jake watched the distance to the command ships decrease rapidly. Susan, prepare to fire everything we have at that command ship. Weapons ready, Captain, Susan replied while targeting the largest Hive vessel. The Horizon burst through the fighter formation and fired all Guardian weapons at point-blank range. The primary command ship exploded in a massive fireball that destroyed dozens of nearby fighters. Direct hit, Captain, Susan announced. Primary command ship destroyed. Amy Foster reported the immediate effects. Captain, approximately 60 fighters have lost coordination and are moving randomly. However, the two remaining command ships quickly adapted and began directing their fighters in a new attack pattern. Jake realized they needed to eliminate the other command vessels before the Hive could reorganize. Amy set course for the second command ship. Same attack pattern. Captain, the fighters are spreading out to block our approach, Amy warned. Dr. Carter made a crucial observation. Captain, the Hive fighters are programmed to protect the command ships above all else. They will sacrifice themselves to stop us. Jake saw an opportunity in this alien thinking. What if we make them think we are targeting one command ship while actually attacking the other? A deception attack, Paul Rogers agreed. Very human thinking, Captain. Jake ordered Amy to plot a course toward the second command ship, while Susan prepared to target the third vessel at the last moment. The Hive fighters moved to intercept their apparent target, leaving the real objective less defended. Now Amy, hard turn toward the third command ship, Jake ordered. The Horizon changed direction suddenly while Susan fired at the unexpected target. The second command ship exploded, destroying more fighters and leaving only one enemy commander to control the remaining swarm. Outstanding tactical thinking, Captain Morrison, Guardian Unit 7 commented. Your crew has demonstrated creativity under pressure that matches your ancestors. However, the final command ship learned from the previous attacks and positioned itself behind a wall of fighter craft. Direct assault would be impossible without destroying dozens of smaller vessels first. Dr. Carter studied the enemy formation and made a suggestion. Captain, what if we use the fighters against each other? The Guardian weapons learn from each shot. If we target the command ship's control signals, the fighters would receive conflicting orders, Jake realized. They might attack each other by mistake. Susan Hayes modified their weapons to target communication frequencies instead of physical targets. Captain, ready to disrupt enemy command signals. Fire, Jake ordered. The Guardian weapons sent precisely tuned energy beams that interfered with hive control signals. The remaining fighters began receiving contradictory orders and turned on each other in confusion. Within minutes, the entire swarm had destroyed itself, while the isolated command ship fled the battle zone. All enemy vessels eliminated or retreating. Captain, Susan reported. Guardian Unit 7's voice filled the bridge with what sounded like satisfaction. Captain Morrison, your crew has proven that modern humans possess the same qualities that made your ancestors great. You have earned my assistance in the greater battle ahead. Jake felt pride in his crew but knew this was only the beginning. Guardian Unit 7, what happens now? Captain, I will accompany your ship to Earth and activate ancient protocols hidden throughout human space. Your ancestors left weapons caches and defense stations that have waited 3,000 years for humanity's return. Dr. Carter looked up from her console with excitement. Captain, I am detecting massive energy signatures throughout this system. The Guardian is activating dormant technology. Welcome home, Captain Morrison, Guardian Unit 7 announced. The galaxy will learn that humanity has returned to claim their rightful place among the stars. Jake realized that everything had changed. The ancient ship that said no to aliens for millennia had finally found a species worthy of saying yes to. Humanity was no longer alone in the galaxy, and the war for survival was about to begin. Set course for Earth, Jake commanded. It is time to prepare our people for what is coming.